Religion is a powerful force in people's lives. In many settings around the world, temples, mosques, and churches are the center of community life. People gather at places of worship to celebrate, to grieve, to learn, to socialize, and to organize. In times of crisis, congregants turn to their religious leaders and institutions for guidance and comfort. Faith-based organizations have an essential role to play in the global fight against HIV/AIDS. FBOs have extensive reach in urban and rural communities. They influence the lives of untold millions. They have a tradition of caring for people in need, and importantly, they're fundamentally sustainable.
Working in HIV/AIDS is an absolutely perfect match for the work of faith-based organizations. There is, in most of the faiths, a command to care for the poor, the homeless, to give compassion to the sick, and to care for the needy and the dying.
Many spiritual leaders believe FBO involvement in HIV/AIDS is consistent with, if not mandated by, religious teachings.
The message of Jesus Christ was that we should go in and reach out to people. And HIV/AIDS is about people and suffering. Jesus cared for the suffering. He reached out. He didn't wait for them to go to him. He went out to where they were. And I believe that faith-based organizations must get out of their comfort zone and go out and begin to show people the love, the care, the concern, the acceptance of Christ.
Islam is very proactive. It looks at today's problems as it is and gives it solutions. If I can speak through my religion, I will be able to combat HIV. Because Islam gives me the tools, Islam gives me the verses, Islam gives me the hadith quotes from the Holy Prophet on how to address every issue that affects me directly or indirectly. And whether we like it or not, we're all affected by AIDS, if not infected.
And there's a Jewish expression called Pechua Nefesh, which basically means to save a life. And actually, there's a great deal of rabbinic analysis and teaching which essentially says, and of course the rabbis might not be willing to do this on a dime the way I do, that the obligation of saving a life takes precedence over any other obligation. So it's a very concrete way of saying to people, this is a pandemic, there are millions of people, but any help you give us that we can give to one of our grassroots groups is aiding the sick and quite possibly maybe saving a life. And that's quite central to what the tradition teaches.
The U.S. Agency for International Development has been working effectively with faith-based organizations for decades. The basis of this relationship is pragmatic. In some geographic areas, particularly rural areas, FBOs are simply the most effective and innovative providers of health, education, and other social services. USAID supports FBO involvement in a wide range of AIDS activities, from peer education and voluntary counseling and testing to home-based care and clinical management of HIV/AIDS.
The faith groups, the churches, the mosques, have the opportunity both to have a very, very strong role in preventing HIV/AIDS by teaching their own faith orientation and rules of living, and then to put that very closely together, marry it with the compassionate care for those who have gotten HIV/AIDS, to care for them and protect them and look after their needs.
Through national councils and other bodies, FBOs coordinate activities with secular institutions, helping to guide the direction of comprehensive programs.
Whether we are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, or Sikh, with the Christian sects, whether we are Protestant or Catholic, in the Muslim community, whether we are Shia, Ishnasri, Sunni, Bohra, or Ismaili, we are working very well, at least on the national policy boards, to be well represented so as to make an impact on what we want to be done.
All the ulamas from Majid Ulama Indonesia, Nahdlatul Ulama, and Muhammadiyah agreed upon that we, the medical doctors, the nurses, and others element of the government, to fight against this disease together. but we got warning from them that we must combine the religious values and the medical values.
Many FBO activities funded by USAID focus on care and support. In Cambodia, USAID's Impact Project, managed by Family Health International, works with the Buddhist community to assist families and children affected by HIV/AIDS. In Battambang Province, the Venerable Buddhist monk Kut Ang and volunteers at Kenkes Temple care for orphans, visit people with AIDS, and promote a compassionate environment.
We have recognized the difficulties of people affected by AIDS since 1997. In 1999, Impact started helping us to understand more about HIV and AIDS and the needs of the communities. Impact helped us to train volunteers and to work with the communities. In particular, helping people to understand HIV transmission to reduce stigma and discrimination in the communities. We have been focusing on making villagers understand people with HIV, not to hate them, but to support them and not just to come to their funerals when they die. Volunteers and monks provide counseling to family members. We also provide vocational training to the children so they can learn some skills and be able to earn some income to support themselves and their families.
Chen from Battambang Province lost both parents to AIDS. Just 20 years old, he cares for 5 younger siblings.
My father died before my mother. When my mother was still alive and healthy, she stayed in this house. Then she became sick, very sick. She talked to me and she was very sad every day that there would be no one to take care of my young brothers and sisters. At that time, we heard that there were good healers who could cure the illness. We went everywhere to get treatment for my mother. We stopped going when we ran out of money. Then my mother died.
With support from Impact, the monks at Kenkes provide Chen and other orphans with clothes, animals, seeds, and rice to help them survive. Chen's sister Sophia participates in a sewing class at Kenkes, which will help her earn an income.
When I know how to sew or become a seamstress, I can help my younger brothers and sister. I can help my brother who drives the horse cart.
In India, USAID supports the AIDS activities of numerous local FBOs, such as the Society for Service to Urban Poverty, the Diocesan Social Service Society, and St. Paul's Trust. These organizations assist anyone in need, whether Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, or Christian. With support from the Impact Project and Catholic Relief Services, St. Paul's Trust assists more than 2,000 people with HIV in the Andhra Pradesh towns of Samalkot and Pettapuram, which have some of the highest HIV prevalence rates in India. St. Paul's takes a holistic approach. It provides nutritional support to children and families, coordinates income-generating activities, and offers clinical care. Dr. K.I. Jacob, Chief Executive of St. Paul's, believes the Trust's greatest contribution is reducing HIV-related stigma in the community.
Our staff members repeatedly going to the house of HIV infected and affected and also talking to the nearby houses. See, this woman is suffering. So she is HIV infected. So it is your responsibility to take care of her and help her. And by purchasing the things she is producing, you are not going to get HIV infected. So like this, a lot of effort has put in, and all this has helped in removing stigma and discrimination. And here now, HIV infected children are able to go to school, government schools, private schools, and even convent schools without any stigma and discrimination.
In Rwanda, USAID funds a range of local FBOs to work on HIV/AIDS. Youth volunteers affiliated with the FBOs demonstrate a passion and commitment to help people infected and affected. With support from the Impact Project and World Relief, these volunteers harvest red sorghum for a family in which both parents have AIDS. Other volunteers construct or repair homes to shelter individuals and families affected by HIV/AIDS.
We have an important collaboration with pastors and other religious authorities. They help us in mobilizing young people, in ecumenical prayers, and in our activities for people living with HIV/AIDS. They are our dear collaborators, our advisors on the ground.
In Rwanda, Ghana, and Kenya, USAID and Family Health International have moved beyond care and support to provide treatment with antiretroviral drugs. The initial treatment site in Rwanda was established at a Catholic health facility. The Biryogo Medical and Social Center in Kigali began providing antiretroviral therapy in February of 2003. Eliza was one of the first 4 patients to begin treatment. Since then, her CD4 cell count has increased significantly.
I'm ready for every occurrence, as long as I can increase my life by a few or many years, because my 3 young children need me. Even the ones who are married still need me. I just want to thank Biryogo, which initiated this program of free medication. I can come back to work now that I feel strong again, starting maybe 2 days a week and then increasing the number of days depending on my strength. Also, I want to advise other people who have AIDS not to despair, but to be strong and have hope. If necessary, I will give them testimony how the medication helped me. I will tell them that my life is going on and how grateful I am towards the Biryogo Health Center and toward God, who is working miracles for me.
FBOs are also involved in HIV/AIDS prevention. USAID promotes a balanced approach of abstinence, especially with youth, being faithful, including partner reduction and monogamy, and correct and consistent condom use in high-risk situations. FBOs apply one or all of these approaches based on the needs and cultures of the people they serve.
Yo estoy muy contenta por lo que he visto y por lo que hemos estado haciendo y colaborando con muchos pastores y ministros de la República Dominicana que van a los campos, a los barrios, están haciendo materiales didácticos para enseñar a sus jóvenes cómo prevenir, cómo hablar de sexo, cómo traer sanidad y santidad dentro del cuerpo de Cristo y las personas que están receptivas a vivir en la pureza, que es la mejor prevención contra el SIDA.
We tell everybody with folded hands that please avoid premarital and extramarital sex. But still, if you can't avoid that, then use condom. Because we have seen 9th class boy HIV positive, 10th class boy HIV positive, intermediate student, medical student, engineering college student, so many of them getting prey to HIV/AIDS.
USAID funds FBOs to implement AIDS activities in line with their religious philosophies and individual strengths. Because of FBO's essential role in people's lives, USAID invites religious organizations to contribute their skills and talents to larger comprehensive programs.
The central thing in religion has to do with this, the dignity of the human being and the value that we place on life, the premium we place on life. So irregardless of religious affiliation, I believe every faith-based organization in the area of HIV/AIDS must get out and do something. It is time to get on board. The world is open. We are one global family. We must make sure that every single community is getting up